everyone. How are you guys? I have a special guest this week, so I'm just waiting for her to hop on here. And waiting for all of you to hop on here. And if you guys catch the replay, like on, well, let me tell you the platforms it's on. It's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Just so you know, if you are listening from one of those platforms, I do these live on Instagram. If you ever want to play, if you want to join live, you can ask questions, all the fun stuff. It's more like interactive if you guys are here live, but either way is perfectly fine. So if you guys are wondering why it may not sound like some other podcasts that you listen to, it's because it's live streamed on Instagram. So you may hear me like saying hi to people who join, and there might be some like pauses in the beginning and the end, just because I know if I don't do these live and I just record them, I speak from experience. Like I tried to record my trailer over and over and over again because I just like couldn't get it right, which is so funny now that I look back on it. So yeah, like the only way that I will get these up and just like spread what I want to say into the world is if I do these live. I mean, it's not the only way, but it's just what I'm willing to choose right now. So, oh my gosh, hey Rye, how are you? I miss you. How have you been, girl? So yeah, if I just do these live, it's just like my way of like tricking myself into doing it and getting it done. So yeah, just waiting for my special guest. Riley, type out how you have been doing. Are you still at school? Okay, my guest will be right there. And Riley, if you're still here, tell me if you can hear me, because I just put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Oh my gosh, I knew you wanted to do nursing. That's awesome. I'm happy for you. That's amazing. See, this is what I was talking about. I'm not talking to you, Riley. I was talking to the people who are listening on the podcast platforms earlier. Like, if you aren't here live, a lot of these conversations I have within the comments might sound like really random. So, yeah, I'm just talking to my old friend Riley now from high school. I've been good. I've been traveling a lot, working, doing some consciousness classes. So, yeah. Oh, okay, our special guest is here. I think it's happening. Hi.
Hey, can you see and hear me?
I can. How about you?
Yeah. Do I need to turn my phone? How does that work?
No, you're good. Just like it's vertical. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Got it. How does it get
Yes.
any better? Thank you so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, thank you for being here. So this is my dear friend, Dr. Melissa Mann. She is a certified facilitator of access consciousness and a psychologist. And I just adore her. So yeah, thank you for being here.
Yay! Thank you so much. I'm so excited. The Instagram live thing is new to me, so forgive me for being like, what am I doing?
You're good. I haven't done a Facebook Live before, so if it were the other way around, you'd probably be like way ahead of the game, and I wouldn't know what I'm doing, because I know you do a lot of those. And if you guys aren't in the Money Party group, join it. It is amazing. It's one of Melissa's Facebook groups that she does. So yes, plug for that.
So much fun. We do clearings and talk about money, and it's a lot of fun.
Yes. So today we're going to be talking about creating with chaos. So since we are in the chaotic spirit, I have no notes, nothing planned for this, just pure and utter chaos. So where can we start?
Well, that's amazing because I had that thought too. I actually just jumped off another call and I was like, wow, I have nothing prepared for this. And I was like, well, we're talking
Cool.
about chaos. How does it get any better? And
Yeah.
you know what's so funny is like often I'll do Zoom calls where I'll like have facilitation things and I'll like have all these notes and all the things. And most of the time I don't end up looking at them anyways
Yeah.
because most of like what pops is sort of what's coming up in the moment. And it's that's actually the beauty of chaos is it is the generative energy of creation. So when we play in chaos, it's really creating fresh rather than trying to like come to conclusion and judgment and like all those like linearity in the planning that we've been taught to do.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it like takes us into the space of being completely present. And that is where true magic happens. So I love talking about chaos because it's so much fun. And it like takes me out of my kind of MO, which is that like linearity and planning and making sure everything's organized, but into like the space of like creation, which is way more fun. Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, totally. And it's so funny how much, like, I mean, just for me, like, I resist it so much. Like, I blame it on like being a Capricorn or, whatever. Like, I just really like order. And like Riley's on here, Riley could tell you, like, if like someone comes in my closet and like touches one thing, like I will know what they did. Like, I just, it's crazy. Like I'm an OCD, ODHD, as Ava Pandit says, creator of magnitude. So like chaos is like it's an energy that I definitely have, and I suppress it sometimes, and I ask for it. So it's like it's chaotic in and of itself. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it really is. And it's interesting because, like, you said the Capricorn thing, and it's funny because I'm a Virgo, which is a similar energy. And my house is actually kind of a mess. Like I'm actually in my bedroom. And if I were to turn the phone around, you would see the mess that is my bedroom. And
Same.
so I'm actually really messy, which is a lot of chaos, but it's like I have my life very planned out and ordered. And so, I have my planner, my like physical paper planner, and I need to like highlight everything. And I have like a different color for different like categories of things in my life.
Yeah.
And I guess if somebody else looked at it, it probably would look like chaos, but it's like organized chaos. And I appreciate that. But when we talk about like things, like as you create your life, as you create your business, as you create your money flows, as you create relationships, as you create sort of anything that you'd like to have as your life, when you ask to instill chaos, that is when we come out of all the ordered things that we're so used to doing and like open up this space of like true creation. And it comes out like it takes us out of the place where we're like trying to get it right and into something bigger, into something more, into like the expansion of the energy of whatever it is you're creating would like to be. So like if you're creating a business, for example, and you're like, okay, my business is this thing. I do this thing. This is my business. And that's like all that can show up because you're limiting it based on the thing you've already concluded and decided that it is. And so nothing else can show up. But if you ask to instill chaos in your business, then it can like go, like it opens up all these different possibilities because maybe it's not just this thing that you do. Maybe you don't actually do that thing at all. Or maybe you do that thing, but it's not at all what you thought it looked like. Mm-hmm. So like, for example, I'm a psychologist and I have a private practice. And I was thinking like what that business was going to look like. I was going to come in and see my clients. And now it's like I have like a therapy client and then a bars client and then an SOP client and then a therapy client.
Oh,
and then
fun.
like I'm jumping on an access call in the middle of the day and then I'm like, and it's chaos. And I think somebody else would be like, wait, you move rooms throughout the day and like you're on Zoom, you're in person. But, and I get that it's even more than that. Like that is what's shown up so far. Mm-hmm. And I'm asking for so much more. And like now I'm playing with like bringing other people on and like having other therapists or like massage therapists or acupuncturists or like, just all the ways. And I'm obviously like still in question with all of this, mm-hmm. but it's like, how can you instill chaos into your business? And what could that create? All these different revenue streams and different like money flows and everything that could show up.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I'll have more of that, please. Like, And it's fun. It never shows up how you think it will. And that's something I've been getting more and more lately. Like I have a 9-to-5 job at a web design company. I have my own access business, which is like total chaos. And I started back up with essential oils. So it's funny, like I was working today, just like doing my web design stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this could be a really good idea for my access business. And it's like I would try to in the past and still sometimes like compartmentalize them, like have them all separate. And it's amazing when you ask for that energy of chaos to instill the energy of chaos into your life and living, like how much everything can contribute to one another, and like everything just explodes into this magical thing. And it's like, wow, I never could have arrived at that with logic and conclusion and without the chaos. So it's like, it's just crazy how it can show up like nothing like you thought it would.
Well, and a lot of it too is like getting out of your thinking mind. I mean, in Access, we say like, mind is a dangerous thing, waste it. Yeah. Like, because you get so stuck. And it's like, if you could have figured everything out with your thinking mind already, you would have. So it's like, but a lot of us are head trippers. So like we think and we think and we think, and we try to like figure it out and get it right. There's so much around like getting it right. I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to waste money. I don't like all of these things, instead of being willing to be like, all right, and if there was no right and there was no wrong, and I couldn't get it right and I couldn't get it wrong, like what would I actually like to choose? And that's where you like, with that chaos, there comes this choice of like, part of it's the choice to just be and to like see what shows up with the chaos and be willing to receive the chaos rather than like you see it coming. It's kind of like this tornado you see coming. And most of us want to do is be like, no, stop, and it's like we want to put up all our walls and barriers to be like, no, must organize, must figure this out, must head trip. And if instead you would relax into it and be like, bring it on, baby, then like what a different energy could show up in your life in all things. I love what you were saying about like your different businesses and how they can contribute to each other. And if it wasn't about like separation and like this sort of distinction, like this is my oil business and this is my access business, this is my website, web design business. I'm like, how can they all actually contribute to each other, either energetically or in a more literal sense, but in any way, shape, or form, because that's like what that creative energy is.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Woo. There's so much there. I mean, I had something. It'll come back. But the relaxing into it. So can you talk more about that? That just like blew up my world, like relaxing into chaos. I think that's something that a lot of people haven't heard of before. Like it probably just doesn't even make sense to a lot of people. So maybe we could talk more about that.
Yeah. So it's funny because long before I was doing Access, one of the things I work with people a lot on is anxiety and panic attacks, right? People have panic attacks quite a bit. It's like what they show up in my office with quite a bit. And I had this conversation today with a therapy patient, is that like what we do with panic is, first of all, we identify it as fear. And if we didn't, what would that create? And so that's like one conversation over here. Yeah. And then I'm like, wow, that's like a whole nother thing. But the other part of that is that like we initially, like immediately feel that energy coming on and we go into resistance and reaction and we pull up all our walls and barriers and this like stop energy. But what we're doing is resistance and reaction. And when you resist and react to anything, what happens is the energy gets stuck like this. So it's like you're doing resistance and reaction, energy's coming and it hits you, and now we're stuck. And so that's when people like talk about panic. Like I was in a 2-hour panic attack. I was like, well, yeah, because you sat and resisted it for 2 fucking hours. I don't know if I can swear on Instagram.
Yeah. Go ahead. You know me.
And it's like, well, if you would just pull your barriers down and be like, bring it on, baby, it would just move through you like wind through the trees, or like when you jump an ocean wave and you ever go to the ocean and you feel like, if you did it as a kid or even as an adult, and you like see the wave coming, you have a choice. You can stand there and be like, I will not move, and the wave will just knock you over. Wow. But if you see the wave coming and you jump with the wave, what happens? You're like, wee.
Yeah, and that's like, and that reminds me of like allowance and acceptance. Like Chris Crawford, she's a certified facilitator. She always says, like allowance is being the rock in the stream, and
Yeah.
like allowing everything to go around you, and acceptance is like a big barrier and you're going to get knocked down. So knowing
Yeah.
that all of life comes to us with ease and joy and glory, just embodying like allowance and having, all right, like I see chaos coming, how can I, like what would it take to have ease with
Yeah.
this?
And so
Yeah.
it's so funny because like, so I use panic attacks as an example, but that is the energy of chaos of like, if this wasn't fear, what excitement could it be? And if I was willing to see it as excitement instead of fear, and if you were willing to see chaos coming at you, right, in the same way, instead of pulling your walls and barriers up and resisting and reacting to it, like you said, being the rock in the stream is being the jump in the wave, is being the wind in the trees. It is being willing to receive in totality the chaos as it comes with a total relaxation, like you said, the ease of it all. And if you could completely be in a space of ease and relaxation with it as it comes, then there is no more resistance and reaction. And it's actually this like generative energy of excitement and enthusiasm instead of like, oh my God, it's chaos. It's like, oh, hell yeah, it's chaos. It's a totally different energy, like a way of receiving a similar energy, but you can approach it one of two ways. And when we're actually open to the receiving of it, then it gets to move and create like it would like to.
Oh, yeah. And what's funny is like a lot of people in Access, like including you and I, like we ask for the energy of chaos to come and be a dominant energy in our lives. And could you maybe talk about like what that is for you? Like what's your target in like having I can't like put it into words, but the energy,
Totally
what I mean.
The energy.
You're psychic.
Yeah. Okay. Of what the energy of chaos is in my life. Is that kind of the question?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's kind of everywhere when you're willing to see it, and be with it. And so it's like, it was funny. I was on this relationship done different call that John Wheeler just did. I'm hosting him in Chicago, side note.
Ooh, fun.
April. So that's really exciting. I don't have the dates in front of me, but in April, John Wheeler's coming to Chicago. And
you're there.
it's gonna be so much fun. And so I was still in my car. I had to pick up the kids to get home to like get on the Zoom, but I didn't want to be late for the Zoom because I'm a host. And so the kids are like climbing in the car and I'm on the Zoom and he's here and I'm, he's starting to facilitate and he's like laughing that I'm in my car because I'm often in my car, and my kids are climbing in and they're like talking about their day, and it was just kind of a lot of chaos, but it was sort of like I was in this total like relaxation of like, I used to do this thing where I'd be like, ah, shh, and like get, like I try to control like the whole thing. And instead I was like, whatever, hey, how was your day? And I talked to the kids for a second. They're like, can he hear us? And I was like, no, you're on mute. And it was kind of like they knew. And they asked like 3 more questions and they stopped and we got home and I was like, all right, I'm going to go in my room and do this. They're like, okay. But it was like the situation wasn't so different than it might have been some years ago, but it was the way that I didn't have a charge on it anymore. And I didn't feel the need to control it or get mad at them for being kids, and just like receive all of those energies that were kind of happening all simultaneously words. And,
Yeah.
And it was kind of awesome. And I didn't think much about it until you asked the question, but it's sort of like moments like that all throughout my day, all the time, where there's just a lot of energies coming at me, even, with the kids or at home or with being on a call, or like, even as we were starting on this, my husband walked in, started to talk to me, realized I was on a call, did something else, walked back out. I heard him talking to the kids, but it was like that used to really, anything like that would like stress me out.
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, whatever. There's just always going to be chaos, whether you invite it in or not. And so there's sort of this point where like, I used to just resist it and get angry or irritable or like try to do control, but it sucked because it was always just from this energy of like resistance and like it's just not a fun energy.
Yeah.
Or, like if you pull your barriers down and you're just like, cool, like bring on the chaos, and if none of it was wrong and you just receive all of it, then like that's where that relaxation piece comes in. And it's like you don't have to do control anymore. You get to be control, which is something we've talked about in the How to Become Money workbook.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
having that energy of like not having to control time, not having to control people, not having to like, because I mean, at the end of the day, like we're not real good at like we try really hard to control things, but there's always going to be chaos. But when you're willing to create with the chaos, to play with the chaos, to be in the chaos and receive it with relaxation, then you don't have to try to control it anymore. Does that like kind of make sense?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It so does. Like today, like just before this call, I was on the phone with my friend Haley, and I was like, "Can I just vent? I have so much going on." And like I was totally resisting the energy of chaos. And I even acknowledged, I was like, "I've been asking for chaos and this is chaos and I'm resisting it." And it was just not creating ease in my world. And so
Yeah.
I have, you have a choice in that, in those 10 seconds, and you can be like, all right, what do I want? What would create the most ease here? And I get now, just looking back on it, just choosing the chaos, which I'm choosing now, is going to create so much more ease. And it's funny just because I've been asking for it, and then right when it shows up, I'm like, no, I don't want it to show up this way. Like this is too much chaos, and all this stuff. So, oh,
Yeah.
how psychic am I? Haley just joined.
It's amazing, actually. Wow. How does it get any better than that?
Right? So,
Well, you know what caught me
yeah,
about something you said? Well, two things now. I remember one. Let's see if I can remember the other one.
yeah,
No, just got the one.
cool,
Okay.
cool. How's it get any better?
Um, is that like off like you were like, oh, I got it. Okay. Let's see if I can keep them both in my head. So one, it never shows up the way you think it's going to. So it's like we ask for chaos, but then it's like I want chaos, but I need it to look like this. So I really like some chaos, but when the chaos comes, it needs to show up as like money flows from multiple revenue streams, and it needs to show up like people, like showing up in my life, and it can't show up like anything I've deemed as negative. And and it's like we try to control the chaos as though that's a thing. So it's like we ask for it, but when it shows up, we're like, wait, that's not how I meant. I'm sorry, universe. Can I? That's not
I
how
need
it
a
works.
do-over.
Right. Well, and the other part of that is, let's see if I can get there. I told you I was going to forget it. ADHD.
No, you got it.
Wait for it. It'll come back. How much have you misidentified chaos as overwhelm?
Whew,
That,
everything that is.
right?
Fuck, all nine shorts, boys, me odds. I've actually never said the clearing statement on my podcast. The clearing statement is just like a whole bunch of words that clears the energy beneath the words that you say. And you can learn more about it on theclearingstatement.com. It's a phenomenal resource, and definitely don't use it.
Yeah, absolutely. Check that out, because that
Yeah.
is my probably greatest tool in access.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like on that, like where has overwhelm been the dominant energy in your life? And so you see chaos coming in and you're like, oh, it's too much, I'm overwhelmed. But like you are an infinite being. I don't know how much you've talked about that on here before, probably a little bit.
Yeah,
And
not enough.
so as an infinite being, we have infinite perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving. And what if an infinite being couldn't ever be overwhelmed? And if there's just a lot of chaos, it's only what you conclude that it is. So if you're like, oh, cool, this is the chaos I was asking for, how does it get any better than that? That's a totally different energy than it's too much, I don't like it, what is this? And you're going into overwhelm, or you've decided that it's overwhelm. And as soon as you've labeled it as overwhelm, then you go into the I can't handle it. And so anywhere that you've decided you can't handle something, you kind of go into this like limitation and walls and barriers and victim energy of like, I can't, it's too much. And then that stops all creation. So as soon as you've like decided I can't, it's too much, overwhelm, limitation, like all of those things, it's like all those barriers go back up and you stop what can be created with the chaos. As soon as you're, it's like you shut it down.
Yeah.
And so like anywhere that like that starts to show up, if you just take a deep breath and you stop and you have gratitude for the chaos showing up, and you have gratitude for all the energies that are happening in your life, and that it's movement instead of the stagnant space that most of us get stuck in, it changes the energy, and you can start to receive from the chaos when you're willing to come out of the limitation and the overwhelm and the like stop energy.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, Yeah.
Yeah.
That. That. And if you guys want more on creating with chaos, Melissa has a class coming up. Do you want to talk more about that at all?
Yeah, so I have a class. First of all, I have a free call on Sunday called Money, I Hate You, Don't Leave Me, which Parisa actually was like the inspiration for from a money call we were on. And I made it into a free call. So that's on Sunday. I will find a way to put links somewhere.
I'll put them in the show description.
Oh, perfect. And in the following week is like the class I'm so excited about is Creating with Chaos, which is what sort of led to this conversation. And this was like initially it was like a little for Facebook Live, like $20 thing I did. I don't know when, summer, something like that. And it got, what was fascinating to me about the energy, the call series itself was cool and I loved it and it was fun. But what was interesting to me was after that call series ended, I probably had 30 requests of people to join the Facebook group, which was a paid Facebook group, so I couldn't let them in. It was over, but people still found it who were non-access people. They were people who were like searching through Facebook world and were asking to join this group. And so I was like, man, there is an energy in this that is asking to go out to the world that is, you know, it's an access consciousness class. I'm an access consciousness certified facilitator and beyond, like who is really looking for these energies of chaos, because let's face it, the world is in a whole lot of chaos right now. And everybody is doing this resistance and reaction thing to it and aligning and agreeing with points of view and all the things. And like, much like, and I don't really want to dive into that whole conversation, but there was like a, if we were willing to actually be an allowance of the chaos, what could we create instead? And so it was like, man, this class is asking to be created and there's so much energy in here and just a really different way of functioning. And it started as a business class. I'm a Joy of Business certified facilitator also. And I love the business stuff. It is so much fun. And I get that a lot of this class probably will be business focused and it is not just a business class. I get that it is so much more than that. It's a full day class and it's really like instilling chaos in everywhere in your life, instilling it in your business, instilling chaos in your money flows, instilling chaos with your body, instilling chaos with your relationships. And if you were willing to like pull in these chaos energies and receive them, how much your whole life could change. And so that's what this class is about. I'm so, so excited for it. And Parisa's gonna be there and it's gonna be so much fun. I'm really excited. It's a Zoom class. You can join from anywhere in the world. And you know, I've kind of like looked at like, maybe I should have some notes. Haven't done that yet. And I don't know if I will, because I get that there's going to be so many questions and so many energies that show up. Even like having this conversation with you, I'm like, oh, there's so much here. And so, like, I'm so excited to see like what comes up in this class. So yeah, that's the class that's coming up in 2 weeks. It's February 19th. So don't join it. It won't change your life at all.
No, not even a little bit. And I won't have the link in the show description either. So just kidding. It'll all be there.
And you can also find me on Dr. Melissa Mann. Mann is MAHON.com/chaos. It was the direct link to there too. So also an option.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Is there anything else before we wrap up?
I don't think so. Thank you so much for having me on today. This was such a fun conversation and I was excited about this class before, but this is like the first time I've talked about it in like a long sense of time. And I'm like, man, this class is going to be awesome. I'm so excited about it. So thank you so much for this invitation.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for being here and for your contribution and everything. So I will see you at the class and have fun at your other class tonight that you're doing.
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
Thanks. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.